All right, Stace, can you see my PowerPoint here? Is it black screen or are you actually seeing something?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's black screen.
oh,
Now
okay.
I see it.
Okay. I'm like, is this just me? All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome. I can see your faces and I appreciate your videos because talking to black screens is really intimidating. It's already a little intimidating. I'm more of an in-person person. I love face-to-face, and this is a class that I love to teach where we can just all sit around a couch, drink warm, yummy drinks, and ask questions. And so I hope that we can still create a little bit of that atmosphere here because there's just a few of us. So I hope this can be a really open space where we can ask a lot of questions because a lot of people walk into this topic with a lot of questions and maybe a few red flags or just bad experiences in the past with direct sales. And so I want to just share a little bit of my personal experience tonight and tell you a little bit about why I think doTERRA is a pretty incredible company, but then give you a chance to ask like all the questions, like all the real questions. The crazier, the better. The more bold, the better. I'm just kind of kidding a little bit, but I just want you to know everything is available to you tonight. I'm an open book. So this is my family. We finally updated our picture. And I have 3 children that are so much fun. Not here right now. That's why it sounds like I live in a little quiet kingdom, but it is wild here with a 1-year-old, 4-year-old, and 7-year-old, soon to be 5 and 8. This is my husband, Josiah, and I've been doing doTERRA for over 5 years, 5.5 years. Sharing doTERRA, which is really wild to me to look back. And I'm I'm an educator, part of a huge group, which you guys are all a part of, called the Living Drop Collective. So you guys should know that. You're probably a part of our Facebook group, or maybe you're joining in our continuing education, but we have quite a few values in the LDC. And I feel like this is important to share in this class because I feel like if you can identify with these values, then it'll help you kind of decide if this is a good fit for you. So the Living Drop Collective values words of life. We really try to speak positively about each other. We don't like to speak negatively towards our peers, we're not really called coworkers, but our fellow advocates. We don't speak negatively about other companies. We like to just keep things really positive. We feel like empowerment through education can be well done because a lot of people can educate about essential oils. You can go buy a textbook and learn everything you could possibly want to know about essential oils. But if you aren't actually empowered then to go use them, then it feels like kind of a waste. And so we really feel like if someone can walk away saying, oh, I know how to do this now, then that's really the biggest gift that we can give you. So you'll notice like at some of the end of our education, like specifically the Facebook classes that we do monthly, one of our last posts is always like, tell us what you're going to go do now, knowing what you just learned, because that helps us really gauge whether or not we did a good job to empower you to actually take action and take the next step. We educate a lot about being cautious with essential oils. They're so stinking powerful. I hope that you guys have had a crazy, amazing experience with oils and hopefully more than one, but we want to help people not be fearful of them. And so we teach how to use oils on little babies, brand new babies, all the way up to the elderly. And then we have a huge value of being generous on the Living Drop Collective. Anyone here won a prize from the LDC? Not yet. You're like, come on now. Oh, Melinda has. Okay, cool. And I know AJ has. Maybe Tira, you're up and coming. This has got to happen for you. But we're always giving away prizes on the LDC, and Kristen and I try to be as generous as possible. And that actually plays a little bit of a role into this business class because growing up, and even into my early married years, I wasn't able to be very generous. We really lived paycheck to paycheck. And so we loved a lot of people and were involved in a lot of mission and a lot of things that we valued. But when someone would ask for something, it was always like, man, I'd love to, but we just can't. And that has totally changed since becoming a part of doTERRA. And I love that so much. And then we really believe that lifestyle transformation is really only going to happen through community. And so I hope that even if you live in Podunk, South Dakota, or in Washington, D.C., or the tip of Florida, like that you can still feel a part of our community that we're trying to create online and within local communities too. We strive to help people through teaching about the importance of holistically healthy lifestyle. And we try to speak life over their circumstances, generous in the ways that we live. we believe that we've been blessed to be a blessing. So I hope that this blesses you, what you learned tonight, more than just you learn some things that you walk away with. So I think you should know up front right away, a little confession. I didn't actually start a business. Like I didn't buy my kit of oils so that I could sell them. Are y'all with me? Is that how y'all started too? You just bought the oils for yourself, right? Like that's how I started too. I knew that I wanted On Guard and Breathe because it helped my daughter sleep through the night after days of a lot of congestion that I didn't really know how to deal with just an 18-month-old. And so I was hooked from the beginning. I didn't really know what I was going to do with all the other oils that came in my kit, but I knew I would use those too. But I got results with everything I tried. Like even down to like getting stickers off a glass with lemon essential oil. When you do that for the first time, you're like, this can't be possible. I just did it again. We bought a new picture frame and my husband happened to walk in when he was happy. He was like, that's incredible. And I'm like, we've had oils for 5.5 years and you're still amazed by lemon essential oil taking stickers off a glass. But that was what happened to me. Everything I did was just amazing. And so I became kind of oil obsessed. And I basically dreamed of this shelf right here. Is that not beautiful? Do you like the color coding? Anybody else type A, like you like the rainbow, it just makes you feel good. And I wanted one of those. I wanted a shelf with all the oils. And you know what? I don't think you're gonna be able to see it. I have one right over, oh, you can only see part of it, but I have one now. Isn't that crazy? That was a dream of mine. And now I have that exact shelf with that many oils on it. I love it. But I wanted all the things. So that's actually what started the business for me. And maybe it'll be different for you, but maybe you just want all the things. And that's kind of how some people get started. So I want you to think as we're going through here about the beginning of your doTERRA journey. Some of you, it was a little bit longer ago. Some just got started, but how do you feel about your oils? Are you like me or like I was, or maybe still am, where you just love them? Like you're just excited about them. And maybe you don't know everything you want to know about them, but you're excited to learn about them. You're excited to use them. You're always trying to find diffuser blends. You find you're talking about them a lot. I'm just curious how you feel about your oils. And then I want to know, how do you feel about the person who enrolled you? And now maybe they're on this call, so you don't have to like type it into the chat or anything, but I bet you could. I bet you love the person that enrolled you. I bet you, whether it took you a long time to get enrolled or a short time, I bet you loved the process. Whether you took a long time to make a decision, I'm sure it was still a positive experience. So I'm curious how you would feel. I feel weird asking this question, but I think it's important to consider. If I came into your house and took away all your oils, no more doTERRA, all done, like how would you feel about that experience? And I think that's important to think about, because we realize as you're considering possibly sharing or selling this product, how valuable it is to you and how valuable it could be to people that you're sharing with too. Because it's interesting, my business is based off of people loving their oils and wanting to order more, right? That's the simplistic way of understanding my business. And you guys, I would imagine, are people that are never going to not use oils. And you're a part of my business and I get paid for that. That's a really big gift that I don't take lightly, that I'm selling a product that people absolutely love. And then what if you could be that person for someone else? The person who shared with you that you had a great experience with, that helped you fall in love with your oils and helped you have like health results in your family. And maybe that allowed you to have some extra income, even just to pay for your oil habit. Maybe it's the oil shelf. Like once you've got the shelf, you'll move on. I don't know. But maybe you're like even toying around with the idea of like totally replacing or supplementing your income. I just want to dive into a little bit of that so you can kind of decide what direction you want to go, if at all. So can we talk about business ownership for a little bit? I'm curious if does anyone own their own business right now? No, Tara does? Okay. Oh, I think that's right. Or do you own a fitness center? Or am I thinking of someone else?
I'm surprised you can't tell from even this part up, but no, I don't own a fitness center. I actually own 2 newspapers and a gift shop.
Oh, nice. Okay, I am a journalist at heart. I went to the University of Sioux Falls for journalism and I ran the paper there. So that is hard work. Deadlines, girl, you run on deadlines, don't you?
Oh, weekly deadline. No, not that. that impressive.
Not quite that intense. Okay. Well, mine was just a college paper and I always put it off until the end. So maybe that's why I felt like it was a deadline. It just, yeah. Anyway. Okay, cool. Love to know that. But yeah, that's a big deal. So I'm curious, do you know how to use the chat, y'all, in here? Would you type in the chat? Just indulge me for a few minutes. Well, if you could just have your most ideal work environment, like exactly what you would want your job to look like, what would be some of the things that you would want? Because this list is mine, and I know you all have your own. I'm hoping I'll be able to see it pop up. Oh, I can. Oh, look, Tara does appreciate Amber. That was so sweet. Oh, wow. Stacy said she doesn't think I'd make it out of her house stealing her oils. I wish I would have gotten this chat up earlier. This is hilarious. So work with people you enjoy spending time with, totally. And then freedom not to work all the time. I feel that. Yes. Okay, throw up a few more if you want to of what your most ideal work environment is, because I'm curious. Here's a few of mine you can see on the list. I wanted work to be fun. I don't know. I just like, you hear that a lot from people. I want it to be like different every day, like something new that keeps me entertained, exciting. And I knew that I wanted to offer something that I was passionate about. Like I knew I couldn't start selling necklaces because I don't even wear them. Like I probably should have one on right now. I couldn't sell jewelry. I wasn't passionate about that. I knew I couldn't sell like whatever. I'm just making stuff up. Legos. I'm not passionate about that. Sorry. I knew it had to be something about health and wellness because that's something that really changed my life and something I was passionate about. I wanted to choose who I worked with. Has anyone had a job in the past where like it was a lot of politics and a lot of cattiness? I worked in a salon when I was in high school and it was all women. And I actually was friends with a lot of them, but man, that was catty. And even at 18, I knew that I didn't want to have any part of that. I wanted to choose my work style, my work hours, my work schedule. I heard from a friend of mine named Callie Kenny that she didn't use an alarm clock. She sold doTERRA. That's how we kind of all got introduced. And she told me she never wakes up to an alarm clock. And I was so intrigued by that idea. Like, what do you mean you don't wake up to an alarm clock? Because I, in my short years of life, had already woken up to an alarm clock every single day for work. And she said, well, I wake up when my body's done resting. That's mind-blowing, like if you don't live like that. And then I wanted to be able to determine the culture, mission, vision, the values. Like I wanted to be in control. I didn't want to compromise what I thought was right or wrong. I worked in a chiropractic office, which I love, but I didn't love all the rules that we had for patients. I didn't love all the billing rules that I had to follow. And I wanted to just personally grow and have just meaningful work. So Stacey says something that matches your values. Exactly. I felt the same way. Changing environment. I get bored easily. Yes. Flexible schedule, less than 40 hours a week, home with family. Yeah. Tara says she has the best employees who are all your best friends. Oh, I bet that's so awesome. You feel sorry for people who do not like their coworkers. Yes. I hear a lot of frustrating stories. So a lot of people are working from home now, so their coworkers have changed. It's like their cats and dogs, but yeah, very different. So can I introduce you to a comparison? And maybe you've thought about this before and maybe you haven't, but there is traditional business, like some of you own and some of you have worked for or been in experience with. And let's say you were going to go and start your own business. Like maybe you're going to start a Starbucks. You're passionate about coffee. You could hire your friends, right? You could whatever, set your hours. But to start a business, like a brick and mortar business, did you know on average people spend about $250,000 just getting the doors open? Pretty normal to create a big loan, get everything built, and then work to pay that off, right? It takes tremendous time and effort required. Most people that I know that own their own businesses, they work all the time because when they work, they don't have to pay employees. And so it's almost easier. It often requires a lot of debt to get started. You must manage your inventory and overhead. Success depends on economic factors. For example, like viruses that shut down business. Can you imagine owning a brick and mortar right now and trying to determine all of that stuff that they're dealing with? And then can I tell you, if you do any research on small business, you will find that 8 out of 10 small businesses actually fail in the first 18 months. In a year and a half, fail. And after 10 years, 95 or sometimes people say even higher, 95% of businesses are totally done. So you have a 95% chance of failing out in 10 years. And then your schedule will revolve around your customer and clients, right? You've got to be open when they want to be open. I always give my husband a hard time because Shields is open on Saturdays and Sundays, and Saturdays till 9 p.m. And I'm always like upset about him having to work so late. But then I get upset when Target closes at 10 p.m., right? Because I'm like, well, like I want to go, and I have to remind myself those people are there working so that I can be shopping there. Well, direct sales is totally different. There's low startup costs. I'll go through that in regards to doTERRA here soon. Typically, it's a very simple setup, very flexible level of time commitment. There's no debt necessary. I didn't have to have a big permission conversation with my husband to start doTERRA because it wasn't going to cost us anything extra. There's no inventory in my house that I'm selling. Now, there is plenty of doTERRA products and oils, but it's not inventory that I'm managing. That's different from many direct selling companies, so that's not really in general direct sales, that's specific to doTERRA. But the success is largely dependent on you, and you really get to set your own schedule. So if you're going to choose direct sales that doesn't have as much risk, then why wouldn't you just choose any direct selling company, right? Then I have some big opinions about doTERRA, and obviously I'm pretty biased, but hopefully you'll consider a few of these things when you're thinking about doTERRA. Number one, I wrote essential oils, period. We already talked about the love we have for this product, and I love sharing something that people can become obsessed with, for lack of a better word, something that really adds so much value to their life that there's no hell or high water that could separate them from that. I want to share and sell something like that, right? When it comes down to tight finances, people are going to still purchase health and wellness products before they purchase cooking supplies and makeup and jewelry and all of those things. doTERRA is in the natural health and wellness industry, and over 60% of people say they would actually prefer to try a natural solution before a medication. So 60% of the people that are in your world actually would be curious to try doTERRA if you could solve a problem for them naturally. doTERRA has really high integrity in their leadership, and their founders are actually a debt-free company. That's really important, especially in a time like this, because we're not trying to scrounge around to figure out how to keep our company afloat, even when things evolve and change. And doTERRA's compensation plan is genius. I hope you guys will give me a few minutes to go through that tonight. I'm just going to teach you a tiny bit where you can see how smart it is the way they have it set up. doTERRA's culture is one of generosity, which I had shared earlier is a big value, even just in our team. There's a lot of mentoring that happens in doTERRA, and almost all of it is free, and I love that. doTERRA is really involved in co-impact sourcing. I hope you know about all that, and the healing hands. I hope you've learned about all of that. If not, you got to go do some digging, because that information is so life-changing. It makes me just fall in love with doTERRA even more so. And then if you're going to have a company that you're going to sell for, I think you really ought to look into the retention rate of its customers. So the retention rate in doTERRA is 6.5 out of 10. And typically in direct sales, it's 1 out of 10. So for example, I always feel like I'm being hard on other direct selling companies, but can we be clear? I buy from a lot of them. I love Pampered Chef. I love Norwex. I love Usborne Books. I love, I don't know, who did I just buy? Oh, Crunchy Makeup. Like there's so many of them. I love, love, love. But typically they have a 1 out of 10 retention rate, meaning for every 10 customers, new customers that they find, one person keeps returning to purchase from them. In doTERRA, almost 7 out of 10 keep returning month after month to continue purchasing. Does anybody know why that would be a huge factor in that? Has anyone bought like a direct selling item from multiple consultants? Like, do you feel like you kind of like rotate your love a little bit? Like you may buy Mary Kay from this girl and then Mary Kay from this time. The next time you need a refill because you're trying to spread the love. Well, in doTERRA, everyone has their own account. So they all come back to the same account every single time to order, and that's with you. So that is a really, really big factor. Tara said, I can see where selling oils opens up both sides of the market to men and women. Oh, so true. I'm so glad you said that. Versus selling makeup to women only, totally use it up. I have shared that in another class. I have said, who doesn't use essential oils, right? Men use them, women use them, children use them, dogs use them, horses use them, plants use them. My garden uses them. We use them to kill ants. So ants technically use them for death. Everybody uses essential oils. We use them for cleaning. There's so many different levels. Yes. Oh, I'm so glad you said that. But here's the problem. You guys know, maybe knew a lot of that, but some of you haven't started or haven't moved forward in doTERRA because you've got some limiting beliefs, right? You just used them in your kitchen for ants. I know, eek, so gross. But you've got some limiting beliefs. So is it okay if I just say them all out loud? If you're super, super brave and you feel like this is a safe group, you could even throw them in the chat. That would be cool. But these are the ones that I hear and the ones that I had starting out. I'm just not a salesperson. I'm not like so-and-so. Or I always said, I don't want to be like so-and-so. Someone that I maybe saw selling something on social media that I just didn't love their approach, or just felt like it was really pressure filled or just obnoxious or annoying. Is this just me? Maybe you don't feel like you know enough people or the right people. Maybe you feel like you don't have time to invest in a business. Maybe you think your personality is just not a good fit, and you wonder what your friends and family would say. So with all that in mind, let me assure you that sharing doTERRA isn't scary. Doing it now for 5.5 years, it's actually really simple, and it just involves you living your oils. And I really believe the summer is one of the easiest times to do this because we're actually outside with people. In the winter, especially in South Dakota, we stay a lot inside, and it gets more and more challenging because we're not in front of people. But right now we're out in the community, and I know our situation specifically is a little different right now, but for the most part, we're seeing people, we're interacting with family, we're going to the lake, those kind of things. And so start with making sure you're diffusing in your home every day. So when people stop over, they want to know what you're smelling. Make goodies with oils in them. Make some muffins with wild orange in them, or gift some oils or DIYs. I really found it beneficial in my business to have an extra diffuser that I could lend out anytime someone was sick, specifically family. I share my Essential Life book. I had an extra one that I would lend out. It's always interesting when you ask for that stuff back, then they're always trying to figure out how to get it for themselves. So looking up diagnosed terms that affect those you love. Remember what I said, 60% of people would try a natural solution if they could avoid a medication. So looking up something that might be affecting them and offering that solution, 6 out of 10 times they're going to say yes. Share your passion with people. That's what I'm doing right now. And then become familiar with all the sharing resources. So take a look here at all the perks, not all of them, but these are the 3 majors that your friends would have and you have right now by being a part of doTERRA. The loyalty rewards program. Can I get a rah rah? Does everybody love this program? We always talk about the rewards programs with like those that share doTERRA with me. We can go off on rants about how awesome this rewards program is. You look at something like Target's 1% back, or like frequent flyer miles. I have to have like 50,000 of them to be able to like fly an hour away. doTERRA's rewards program is so awesome, and I feel like it's one of the most generous perks of doTERRA. And then we have a huge group, the Living Drop Collective on Facebook. We also have some online resources on websites and things for those that are not on social media, but there are tons of units and files and more than you will probably ever get to read within the LDC, and I love that. And then we have oil camps, we have continuing education, we have DIY events. I bet a lot of you have been involved in some of those things, right? So those are all perks. So when people ask you, well, can I just order from you? Or how, like, why order doTERRA? I just get it on, I get oils online, or, oh, I buy oils at Hy-Vee. This should be what you go, huh? There's so many perks for you having your own account. Bloop, 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 bloop. You'd be sharing all of these things. So, so when you do start sharing with doTERRA, start sharing doTERRA. Woo. Then you get paid by doTERRA. That's good, right? No one's ever upset when a paycheck shows up in the mail and it says cash me on it, right? There's 5 ways to earn income with doTERRA. This is not a 201 class. This is not an in-depth commission earning class, but there are 5 ways to be paid by doTERRA. So I think you should know that, because that means you can be paid for lots of different ways. You can be paid if someone buys retail from you. You can be paid bonuses for getting people started with their own accounts and keeping them educated. You get paid another type of commission for structuring your organization. You get paid income from follow-up orders, and you get paid once you hit certain ranks in doTERRA with the company-wide profit. They actually take part of that and split it among all the advocates. So there's 2 that I want to talk about specifically tonight, because they are the ones that you will start seeing the fastest. And that is where my arrows are, this fast start bonus and power of 3 bonus. So if you're not a numbers person or don't really care about the finances, it's okay if you zone for a minute here. But this is what it would look like to start earning some of these. So fast start bonus means that you've started someone with their own account. So you enroll your friend, Susan, with a home essentials kit. That's actually not what it's called anymore, but we'll say that. A home essentials kit. It's 225 PV. It costs Susan about $275. doTERRA will pay you 20% of that PV. So doTERRA pays you $45 for helping your friend Susan get a kit. How cool is that, right? What just happened here? Back up. No idea what happened. I didn't even touch anything. Holy moly. Okay, so you enroll Susan, doTERRA pays you $45. The next month, you enroll Jess with a family essentials kit, and she also wants to add on another bottle of Serenity because that oil's amazing, right? So that's 140 PV, and doTERRA pays you $28. Now, back up to Susan. Susan contacts you in the second month, is like, I love these oils. Like, I actually want to order a few more things. How do I do that? And you teach her about the loyalty rewards program, and she spends 120 PV. doTERRA, again, pays you 20% of that order, $24. So can you see how that could really start adding up for just sharing with 2 people? You've almost got $80, $90, almost $100 worth of income from doTERRA for sharing with a couple of people. Now, let's say Susan enrolls someone, then you'd earn 10% off of the people that Susan enroll, and so on. There's actually 3 levels of that bonus paid out, meaning that you have levels of people in your organization that are here to support you. So for example, Stacy, I enrolled Stacy. She's on the call tonight. Stacy's waving. Hey. If Stacy enrolls somebody, she earns 20% off of that, right? Let's say she's the one that enrolls Susan, she earns 20%. And then what do I earn? Because I enrolled Stacy, I earn the 10%. So I own 10% of Susan's order. And then the person that enrolled me, her name is Kristen, she earns 5%. So let's say Stacy's sharing with Susan, and Susan has headaches all the time, and Stacy doesn't know what to sample Susan. So she calls me because I'm a part of being paid for Susan to get started. And she says, what should I sample Susan? And I say, I would give her some past tense. And she enrolls, she says, well, I don't have any past tense. And I'm like, girlfriend, I got you. So I get her a little sample of past tense to share with Susan. Stacy enrolls her. We're all earning income off of that. So that's that fast start. That happens really quickly because you get paid the next week. So if Susan enrolls today, you're going to get paid Thursday with that money. That's awesome. That's why they call it fast start. Fast. So then over here's the power of 3 on the right side. All of these little people and all these arrows and this chart over here. So now Susan and Jess are just like all of us, right? They love their oils. You take them on the LDC, they start learning about LRP, and they both start ordering on LRP. I bet a lot of you already do, right? Let's say in this month, they each order 115 PV. So doTERRA is going to pay you $44 because 20% of both of those orders is going to be $44, 22 and 22. And then do you see here, you're the green person? So here's Susan, here's Jess. They're both ordering over 100 PV on the loyalty rewards program. All you would need is one more person to share with that also does the same thing, enrolls and starts the loyalty rewards program, and doTERRA will give you a $50 bonus. every single month that happens, you get a $50 bonus. So you got the $44 from their orders plus an additional potentially $50. Do you see how you could earn $100 pretty quickly just by sharing with a few people? It's actually, we're not talking like hundreds and hundreds of people. Now this goes deeper, right? If you start actually pursuing the business and we help you help more people and those people start enrolling their friends and you could start earning all of these. So this is a bonus I'll show you as we go, but that I earn every single month from doTERRA, and it's a huge blessing. It's my mortgage payment every single month. So, all right. So that all sounds good, right? There's got to be a catch. I always want to know the catches. I just had a salesman at my door yesterday to try to install a security system. And the whole time he's talking, I'm thinking, there's no way you just want to give me a deal because you randomly picked my house on the street. What is the catch? What is the catch, right? What are the catches that I should know about? So I just want to go through a lot of the catches that people ask me about. Number one, they say, okay, well, what does it cost for a startup? Then you said it was minimal. What does it cost? Well, it costs $100, about $100. It's 100 PV on the loyalty rewards program every month to allow you to be commissionable. So if you're spending that every month, then doTERRA will pay you your commissions for who you are sharing with and enrolling. That's the only financial requirement to build a doTERRA business, to place a monthly order. And the cool thing is you use all that stuff for your family. So it's an investment, but it's probably things you would be buying anyways. A lot of times when we invite you to this class, it's because you're already doing this and you're already sharing, and we think, hey, you like literally have already done every requirement, so maybe you'd be interested in getting some of that money back. There's no storefront. You don't have to have a storefront. You don't even have to have a website. doTERRA will make one for you. And there's no advertising necessary. A lot of people ask, okay, well, what does it cost to start doing the business? Then do you have to like upgrade and pay a fee? No fee. Nope. You're going to click a button that says upgrade to wellness advocate. You're going to put in your social security number per the federal government requires you to do that. In case you earn over $600, they want to know about it. Of course, the IRS doesn't let any of that slide. So that is going to, and then you're going to click finish and boop, you're done. You're upgraded. There's no change in the renewal fee. Some are concerned that if they're a wellness advocate, they'd have to pay more to renew their account. You'll pay the exact same price that every customer pays. That's $25 and you get a free peppermint oil. There's actually no requirements for ordering. Even if you had a month where you didn't want to do the 100 PV, no one's going to get in trouble, or doTERRA is not going to call you. You just aren't eligible for commissions that month. So there's a lot of flexibility. I know in a lot of companies, there's a minimum sales requirement to keep your advocate status, not in doTERRA. I'm so thankful for that, because sometimes I need to take some time to be with my family, or I have just an off few months, or whatever it is. I know in Norwex, they've got to sell a certain amount of money every 6 months. Otherwise they can't keep their, I know that's the same for some makeup companies and things too. There's no inventory required. I love companies like Usborne Books, but after I watched this sweet woman set up her table at the last vendor show that I was at, and she literally took at least 10 trips back to her car to set up her table. And I was like, where do you store all that? She goes, oh, I had to like create an extra room in my house to hold my inventory. And I'm like, my husband would not go for that. So there's no inventory in doTERRA. There's no pressure from the person who enrolled you. We don't really do parties even. We do a lot of education and sampling, but there's no high pressure parties. I was added to 3 parties on Facebook this week alone. Nobody called me, nobody contacted me, no message sent, and it just feels weird. We don't do anything like that in doTERRA. I don't purchase for a bunch of people and then sort out deliveries and exchange money. My hashtag ain't nobody got time for that, right? That is so much work, and it's just you really can't make any money doing it that way. So we don't do it that way. So what is the average annual earnings? This is from doTERRA, and oh, there we go. That's how that happened. Scrolling up and down. Good to know. So these are the ranks, is what we call them in doTERRA. This chart probably doesn't mean a lot to you, and it doesn't even really have to, but it's important to actually know the real numbers. I was talking with a friend of mine about the business a month ago, and she said, you know, a lot of people have approached me about a direct selling business, but they keep saying, like, don't you want to just earn a little extra income here and there? And she's like, honestly, I really don't. Like, if I'm gonna invest some time into something, like, I actually want to make like real money. I don't really want to just earn a few dollars here and there. And I was really intrigued by that, because that's kind of how I've always shared doTERRA as, like, well, don't you want to just pay for your oils? And you can do that. Like, it is an option, but I'm realizing that not everybody wants to invest time into just like making a few bucks. Like, what if you could make like real money by investing the same amount of time? That's what I want you to consider. So this means nothing to you, and it shouldn't, because these are numbers from doTERRA, and you don't have any faces or names or anything associated with any of this. This is just like numbers, right? So I actually screenshotted all of my income, but I'm curious, like, does that motivate anybody? Like, if you saw real life income from a real life person that lives in Sioux Falls, South Dakota with 3 kids and a mom and a husband, like, would you want to see that? Yes, no, maybe so. I'll skip past it if you don't. Okay, Melinda does. We'll do it for Melinda. Okay, so here it is. I've actually been tracking my income. So, okay, can I back up? I'm like incredibly feel awkward to show this with you, because I hate, remember when I was talking back about, like, I don't want to be that person. I don't like when people flash this stuff out on social media, and there's like, I don't like that. I grew up, we don't share income with anyone. But in this business, like, I feel like you deserve to know that. Otherwise, why would you get started in something that you don't know if you can really make any money in it, right? So I'm like being really vulnerable and sharing this information for you, but it really is just to serve you, in the sense that maybe number one, it motivates you. And maybe number two, it's like, oh, I had no idea that was actually real. So I want you to look at the very top of this. This is a screenshot from my Google Drive. I just literally took it an hour ago. This pink circle is the day I started, April 15th, April of 2015, sorry. April of 2015, I made $65.05. I was so stoked, you guys. I enrolled my first person. Actually, I think I enrolled 2 people at that class, and I made $65, and I was so, so excited. Obviously enough to start a spreadsheet, right? I was like rocking. And that year, I had my second baby. So October 1st of 2015, do you see this chart over here? This is the month that I had my son, Cohen. Do you see that I made $411 that month on my maternity leave? And then in November, I didn't do any doTERRA either, because I was still on my maternity leave. I was actually working another job, and so I was on real life maternity leave, but I was unpaid. But I knew that I wanted to be home with my son, so I was willing to sacrifice. And I made another $186. And then in that December, I made $300. So I made almost $1,000 on my maternity leave, doing nothing, taking care of my baby. I shouldn't say doing nothing. I was doing a lot. Nothing in doTERRA. So that was my first year. I made $1,500 that year. The next year, I had my first $1,000 month. So 18 months later, about. So do you see, this is not like a real get rich quick thing. And those things don't really work out long term either. This is called residual income. This is income that's, maybe you've heard the term passive income. A lot of people invest in real estate for passive income. I don't want to own a bunch of property and then have to figure out how to maintain it for passive income. I want to just wake up, schedule my doTERRA hours for the day, hang out with my kids, go to bed the next morning, wake up without an alarm clock, remember, wink, and then do it again, and let this doTERRA build, and look what's happening. So in 18 months, then I had my first $1,000 month. The next year, I had my first $5,000 month. And here, December of 2019 that we just had, I had my first $10,000 month. So this is like real income that I'm almost getting teary, because I'm so humbled by the opportunity that doTERRA has offered me to so when did I leave my job at the chiropractic office? It was in 2016. So let's back up. 2016, November 1st of 2016 was my last day. I was making about $1,000 a month, working 2 days a week at this chiropractic office. And look what my check was that month, $890. God totally, and then look at the next month, you guys. God totally walked in and just said, hey, you have a dream. You want to be home with your babies and you want to raise them. You've worked hard. I'm going to make it happen. And he just did. He kept providing. It just kept growing, like so mind blowing. And you know what? Remember that list that I made of what my most ideal work environment, offering a new product or service that I'm passionate about? I'm 5.5 years later. I'm still getting goosebumps. I'm sweating and I'm practically yelling at y'all on the screen here right now. 5.5 years later. How awesome is that? Like, I'm so mind blown and I'm still so passionate about doTERRA and the oils and what they're doing for me. I get to choose who I work with. I got to choose who I even invited to this class tonight. I have very specific people on here that I wanted to help them find someone that they could partner with in the business, because it's so much fun. It's challenging, but it's so much fun, and the reward is so big. So I let Stacy in, and my mom, and Lisa, and a couple other people. But that's why y'all are here, okay? I'm joking a little bit with you. So I get to choose who I work with. There's no politics, and there's challenging conversations. This is a relationship business, right? But it's nothing like I have experienced in the past. And then I choose my own work style and my own work hours and my own work schedule. And you know what? I don't wake up to an alarm clock anymore. Like, it's so weird. I told my husband the other day, I have to wake up in the school year to wake up my daughter. But now that that's actually been like gone since March, I literally have not woken up to an alarm clock since March 12th or whatever it was. Pretty amazing. And then I determined the culture, the mission, the vision, all that stuff I shared at the beginning. I decided that what our team was going to be about, and you get to decide for yourself too. I don't have to compromise it. I've got lots of personal growth, and it's so meaningful. Okay, before we finish, can I tell you a little story? I'm curious if you've heard this story before, buckets versus pipelines. Have you heard it before, Melinda? Do you know this story? No, Melinda doesn't know it. Oh, there's actually two Melindas. There's a Melinda Rarick and a Melinda Padula. Hi. I was talking with Melinda Padula. Is that how you say it? Padula? Padula? Anyway, have you heard this story, Melinda? She's smiling, but now she looks frozen to me. Okay. Tara, have you heard this story before? Okay. I just didn't want to make sure I was telling a story that everyone had heard before. I know that Stacy and Dawn have, but I heard this story really, really early on in my doTERRA business, and it just impacted me. And I think about it all the time. We talk about it all the time. And it's this buckets versus pipelines. So there's a man, and he lives in a village, and his job is to haul buckets of water from the river or the water source to his village every day. And every bucket that he carries, he gets paid for, right? So however many buckets he hauls is how much money he gets paid. And it's a good job for him in this village. This is actually like a coveted job. Like, he is guaranteed this job, right? We always need water. There's never a day that he wakes up and he's going to get like furloughed, right? Everyone needs water. So this is a really good job, but he trades hours for dollars. If he works a lot of hours, he makes a lot of dollars. Every time he hauls a bucket, he gets paid. And one day he gets this idea. He's heard about this thing called a pipeline. You guys see that picture, right? If he built a pipeline from his village in the top of the mountain down to the water source, then the water could be transported through the pipeline, right? So what does he have to do? He can't just quit his bucket job. Like, that's how he pays his family, right? So he hauls buckets all day still, all throughout the daytime. But at night, he works on the pipeline. So I always like to compare it like he probably misses a few soccer games, right? Because he's building the pipeline at night. Now, there's probably not soccer in the village, but you know what I'm saying? Like, there's got to be some kind of sacrifice probably, because he's hauling buckets all day and he's building this pipeline at night. And he does that. It takes him like, I don't know, a year, 2 years, maybe 3 years, where he's hauling buckets during the day, building the pipeline at night. But what happens after 3 years or whatever it is, and that pipeline is built, and he goes to the top of the village and he turns the crank on the pipeline, and the water starts flowing, right? Now he's getting paid for this passive route of water, and he's no longer carrying buckets. So that's what I'm doing here, you guys. And that's what I'm like really saying, what if you did this? What if you started this pipeline like I did in April of 2015, and you worked hard on it. And it felt like a little bit of a sacrifice for a while because you were hauling buckets during the day, right? $65 did not put any food on the table that month. Let's be real. It didn't even cover my oils order for the month. But I had to keep doing that, doing the work where I was hauling the buckets during the day and building my pipeline at night for a while until all of a sudden the spigot turned on. and then I got to quit my bucket job in 2016 or whatever it was, whatever I told you. It like fades from me now. And now I've just had this pipeline running. And do I maintain the pipeline? For sure. Of course, I maintain it. I work 15 to 18 hours a week, but I work 15 to 18 hours a week. Stacey said one of her goals was to work less than 40. Yeah, because I want to do other things. I'm not just passionate about doTERRA, ironically enough. I'm actually passionate about a lot of things. I'm passionate about being outside. I'm passionate about raising my kids to understand values and Jesus. And I want to be involved in my church. And I want to spend a lot of time with my parents. I went on a 5-day vacation because with my parents, I never thought I would do that. I'm just joking. I took my 3 children with my parents to the Black Hills. And you know why I loved it the most? Is because I didn't have to call anybody to check on my time off. I actually made the same amount of money while I was gone that I would have made if I was here. And I got to be with my parents, creating memories as they age and won't be here forever. Like, let's be honest. So anyway, I hope that inspires you the way it inspired me at the beginning, and know that I'm really committed to helping you do the pipeline work. I'm not going to haul any of your buckets. You do that well right now, but I am committed to the pipeline work for you. So maybe you're intrigued. Maybe you're not, and you're just hoping I can let you off the call. And I'm not going to hunt you down. There's no strings attached to anything that we talked about tonight. This is solely for you, because I believe that if you were invited here tonight, you have a purpose beyond what you're maybe even currently doing. And I think doTERRA could be a really incredible avenue for that. So I think you just really got to start living your oils in front of the people that you want to share with most. Like, have them on you, by you. I shared a few of those ideas earlier. When they ask questions, help them get a starter kit just like you did. Tell them about the membership. There's no requirements for ordering and selling. And then consider asking the person who started you with doTERRA to teach a fun, super casual class. Maybe it's at your home or coffee shop, or maybe it needs to be online based on current restrictions or whatever. But just a simple basics class so everyone can smell all the oils. That's really all you're going to do. You're going to get together and you're just going to let everyone smell all the stuff. That will be the most effective way to get started. Be sure you're enrolled as a wellness advocate. You've got to talk to your enroller first before making that change, but I already told you how to do it. You're literally going to click a couple buttons. And then when you're ready to enroll someone, it's like you literally click a button that says enroll a new customer and you add in their info. That's it. It's so simple. So, okay, we talked about a lot tonight. There's only a few of us on this call. Some of us are educators, some of us are considering doTERRA, and maybe you are a processor, a learner, and you can't make a decision soon at all, and that's okay. I promise that's not what this is. But maybe you are like me and you have really good intentions, but sometimes the follow through is challenging. You get excited, but now life is going to happen. You're going to get off this call and like kids are going to be waiting for you, or the next day you're going to go back to your job and just life happens. And then it's the 4th of July, and then it's the middle of July, and then it's school starting, and then it's Christmas, and then it's like next year. And you were like, I really was going to start that doTERRA business. And it's July of 2022. Like, we all get there. So what I think you should do, if you're even thinking about it, I think you should just take a big giant step in, and nothing that's crazy, but something that would really help you understand, what does it really look like for me to do doTERRA, and do I like it? Is it something that I'm good at? And all of it is for total free. It's free. It's on dailymentorcalls.com. So you go to dailymentorcalls.com, and the person that is going to show her face up there her name is Elise Sedevi, and she is the highest ranked advocate in doTERRA. I could bump back to that slide and you could see what her income is. It's way more than I'm making. She's really, really talented at what she does, and she's helped a lot of people. And so the beauty of that is she's seen a lot of people do really well in doTERRA and a lot of people not do really well. And she's figured out what is the common denominator that makes people have success. And she's put it all out in a step-by-step process for free. So if you're the kind of person that likes checklists and someone telling you exactly what to do to have success, it's literally laid out for you. And I think the first 4 calls would help you know if this is a good fit for you. And remember, they're free. So call number 1 is going to help you learn the training program. I think the call is like 12 minutes long. The call number 2 is going to help make a list for you, help you make a list of those you want to help. We have to know who you want to help to be able to help them, right? Call number 3 is going to decide who is most ready for the oils, because you're going to have a lot of people you want to help, but who are the ones, who's that 60%, right? That are more interested in natural solution. Let's not call up your sister-in-law who's a nurse practitioner that thinks you're a little crazy already for using oils and ask her for the first enrollment. Like, let's not call her first, right? Let's call your neighbor down the street that already has asked you about oils, that has an issue that you know about that would be so easy to sample. So anyway, we make a list of who's most ready of who we want to help. Then we decide who's most ready, and she talks you through all of it. She's going to teach you all of it. And then we're going to make a plan. The 4th call will make a plan for how to actually give them a sample. And that's the best part, you guys. You're just going to love on people. You're going to take something that you already have access to, that you've already paid for. It's not going to cost you any more money. And you're going to put a few drops in a bottle, and you're going to give someone the chance to have the experience that we have had. So if you're willing to do that, if you're willing to go to dailymentorcalls.com, create a login, it's free. I think I've said that a few times. I don't like paying for training. I've done it in the past. I've even recommended it in the past. And this has been the best training I've ever experienced. And it doesn't cost anything. It's weird, crazy. It's amazing. And you create a login. You listen to those first 4 calls. It might take you an hour to listen to all those calls. You don't have to do it all in one day. It could be done out over a week. It doesn't matter. And then from that list of who you want to help, you're going to pick 5 people who make a 5, 6, 7 score. That makes no sense to you right now, but she's going to teach you what that means in those calls, meaning they're going to be the ones who are most ready for oils. So if you have at least 5 people on your list, I don't care how big your list is, but you got to have at least 5 people in there that have a 5, 6, or 7 in their score. And then you're going to sample 1 person out of there. You've probably already done this, you guys, haven't you? You've already shared oils with someone. You little stinkers. You've been doing this already. This is not challenging. Okay, if you're willing to do that, and you will take a picture of that list and your plan for contact and the person that you sampled, like you wrote it down, what oil you sampled them, and you text a picture of that to the person that invited you to this class, they'll get it to me. Then I'm going to look up your address in my back office, and I'm going to send you this. It's a little personal diffuser. Can you all see this? And it is so awesome. My kids are obsessed. So when we are on the boat and the bugs get bad, or I'm outside at a picnic, I just put my bug repellent in here. Or if I'm exhausted at the end of the day, or if I'm just feeling all the emotions, and this thing runs for a whole hour and it doesn't need a cord. You just plug it in and charge it. And it's awesome. Anyway, I want you to have it. It's a personal travel diffuser. Ooh, that got really up in the nose. So that's all I want you to do is take one big step into doTERRA, but nothing's too scary, right? Anyone can listen to a call, 4 of them. You can make a list of who you want to help. You can pick 5 of those that are the most ready for oils, and you can sample 1 of them. I don't even care if it's your mom. It can be anyone, as long as she's a 5, 6, or 7. You'll understand that when you listen to the calls. And then you'll take a picture of that list and your plan for contact. So I'm only offering this to you guys. Nobody else even knows this is happening. In fact, all of my educators are like, why do you never offer these to us? Why do you only ever offer these to our customers? Because I mean like that. Anyway, so this is for you. That's what I wanted to share tonight. This is the last quote I'm going to leave you with. If you don't build your own dream, someone else will hire you to help build theirs. So I worked in a chiropractic office before I started doTERRA, and even I did them side by side for a little while. And I loved it, you guys. That's what actually taught me all about natural health. It's what totally changed my life and my whole perspective on natural health. But every day I showed up at work, I built my chiropractor's dream. It was his dream to own that business. It was his dream to see a certain amount of patients every week. It was his dream to change Sioux Falls in the world of chiropractic. That wasn't my dream. I didn't dream of being an office manager in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I dreamed of this, like I've already shared. So anyway, if you don't build your own dream, someone else will hire you to help build theirs. And we need employees, right? My husband's still an employee and we're super grateful for his job. But I will tell you, it is really fun to build your own dream. All right. Did I scare anybody? I'm going to quit the share here. I'm even going to stop